Hello gorgeous people, how are you all doing today? I do hope you're well, of course. You're joining me on yet another damp, chilly day in old London town. So it's another indoor day for me, and let me show you. I'm processing lavender. It takes hours. This represents, can you see that? That's half a bag. And it will take about half an hour. So each bag takes about an hour to get through. Let me show you what I'm doing. Each stalk, I hold, it's wibbly wobbly, hold it at the tip and pull backwards to get all the beautiful little scented blooms off. Yay! So yeah, I've got, I think it's 32 bags to get through, so it's 32 hours. Obviously, I'm not going to do it all in one go. Now, there are some folk who may say, thresh them, Vivi, thresh them. In other words, I could take this whole bunch, sort of stuff it into a pillow, still sort of holding it, then hold the pillow around it, and whack them out like that. And yes, that can work. And if I was doing this for myself, if I was doing it just for me, yeah, I might do it that way. However, doing it that way, you end up with loads of detritus in the bowl. So I only want, after my beet burgers went flying, I'm a bit careful to tip things up to show you. Yeah, you know, this is for my beautiful customers. I only want the bags to be pure flowers. No twiggy bits, no leafy bits, no detritus, just pure gorgeous flowers. So yes, it takes time, but I think it's worth it for a really pure, beautiful product. And you know, it's frankly, outside stuff at the moment, it's not so much that I'm a fair weather gardener, because I do get down there during the winter, but I just don't like being cold and damp. It's the bottom line. I'm not built for it. I'm a summer baby. I was born in the summer. I love summer. So there are a few jobs to get done in the garden, and I'm slightly putting them off, if I'm honest. I'm slightly avoiding it. You know, I think undoubtedly it's partly because in the back of my mind, it's not like in previous years, go to the garden during winter, or it's late autumn, coming into winter, come home from the garden, cold to the bone, damp, etc. And then you come home and you get all cosy and snug. Well, of course, that's not really happening this year, is it? I think for the majority of us, because we're not putting our heating on. I mean, I'm going to come on to this. I find it an absurd and angry-making situation, actually. But yeah, part of me, I think, is slightly acclimatising. So normally, as we go into October, I probably put my heating on in the evening. Well, possibly in the morning, for a little bit of time in the morning, when I first get up and it's chilly, take that chill off the air, just while I'm doing, because first thing in the morning I generally go on the computer and do a bit of correspondence on the computer. So I'm sitting still, and I've just got out of my lovely cosy bed. It feels particularly cold when you get out of bed. So I put it on in the morning, and then generally speaking, put it on in the evening and be nice and cosy, because again, once we get to the evening, I tend to be more still. But, you know, fortunately, we did have a really mild October this year. So I didn't put my heating on in October at all. Brilliant. And at the time I was thinking, oh, I'm being so brave and brilliant because I'm not putting the heating on. And then I kept having to remind myself that actually the temperatures were more like September. So I actually didn't need it. But yeah, as we've gone into November, it's it's not. I heard this on the radio the other day. They were saying it's been a really mild November, and I was thinking, are you kidding me? It's freezing. Now, of course, it isn't freezing, and I know there are places in the world much colder. I've said it before, I'll no doubt say it again. I think it's just the fact that normally by November, I'd have my heating on. So even though it may have been a milder month than previous years, it feels colder because at home it's colder. So I think in terms of, I think I have acclimatised a little bit. I'm tolerating, put it this way, I'm tolerating temperatures which in the past, if it was that temperature, I'd have just put the heating straight on and say, I'm not having this, put the heating on. There comes a point though where it's just, I can't stand it. I've been really, really, really stingy with it though. I've stuck to sort of, and it's not been every day, not by any means, but maybe every 2 or 3 days I put the heating on for half an hour. I get to the point I can't stand it. The other thing is, where I am really fortunate, we've had 3 or 4 days of sunshine throughout the whole of November, good grief. And when the sun hits this south-facing window, it really warms the room. It makes such a huge difference. It makes about a 4 or 5 degree difference and makes it a really tolerable temperature. So on those days, excuse me, probably getting a bit of lavender dust in my throat. Yeah, on those days, quick, put my laundry on the clothes horse in front of the window in that sunshine. Open the back windows, so open the bathroom and the kitchen windows, and just air the flat a bit, because what I don't want is moisture build up indoors. I know Richard and Paul were saying the other day they've invested in a dehumidifier, and I think that's a really, really wise investment, especially for them because their home is detached, so their bricks are getting wet on all 4 sides. For me, it's just my roof. The other things I've done, I've worked out the optimal sock arrangement, my optimal sockage. I'm wearing 3 pairs of socks, and it's just enough to stop my feet freezing, because I hate cold feet. There's something about cold feet, I don't know if you all get this too, but it's so distracting. I can't think straight when my feet are cold. So I've got my my normal little sort of fine knit, my sort of little ankle trainer socks that I always wear, and then over the top, it's a thermal sock, but it's still quite a fine knit. And I was doing that. Excuse me, itchy. I think the lavender might make my nose go a bit itchy today. It's not an allergy. It's just the intensity while I'm doing it. Yeah, so I tried that arrangement of my little fine knit ankle socks and then the thermal socks, and it wasn't doing it. But then I put on a chunky pair over the top, and that's working an absolute treat. It's the layers, isn't it? Layer up, trap a little bit of air between each layer, so it might not look at. I've got a ton of layers on here. Got my blanket on my lap. But yeah, it's, we all just have to manage as best we can. It's up to us. For those of us who are mobile, who can be mobile, get up and move. Just do some star jumps, whatever it is. But it is a situation which, I have felt so angry about it these last few weeks, months even, because this situation has been growing over the last year or so. There've been moments and I felt so angry towards both, governments and the big fuel extractors, distributors, BP, Shell, the like. Angry that, for example, I can't remember whether it was BP or Shell, it was one or the other. But the first 6 months of this year, so it was by the end of July or August or so that they released their figures, their profit for the first half of this year compared to the first half of last year had gone up 6 times. So last year in that first half they'd made £1 billion. That's what I can't get my head around these numbers. £1 billion of profit. This year they've made £6 billion of profit. And to me that's disgusting. It's disgusting that the fat cat shareholders getting their lovely dividends from £6 billion are getting that at the expense of people who this winter will I mean, I don't want to say it as far as how bad it can get, as how it will affect people. So yeah, it's doing it to me now. It makes me so angry, but also it makes me really, really upset. And I've sobbed over and over again at this situation. Not for myself, because I'll be okay. I will manage. Please don't anyone worry about me. But it's made me sob for the people who won't manage. You know, for elderly people, for younger people, but people who are immobile, for families who have a family member who have to use medical equipment which requires to be plugged in, which requires power to be plugged in. So many people, yeah. So I don't want to dwell on that. I don't want to dwell on my anger or my just abject sorrow for people. But yeah, in the last few days I was thinking, I just hope, this is what I hope for. Let's have some hope. I hope with all my heart that there's a young person out there right now, because it only takes one person. Some young lass, maybe 15, 16 years old, final year at school, thinking about A-levels, maybe an undergraduate actually doing their engineering degree, maybe a postgraduate who's done their engineering degree and is now going on to further study, a 22-year-old maybe. I hope that there's a young person out there right now who goes through this winter and next winter, because it looks like next winter will be in a similar situation, that they'll go through this winter and, you know, if they're a 22-year-old student, they'll have their own accommodation, so they'll be paying their own bills. If they're that 15, 16-year-old, they'll be at home with their parent, their guardian, whoever, and they will see the effect that this is having on people. They'll see, you know, the effect it's having on their grandparents, if they are lucky enough to have their grandparents still. And that somehow it will bolster them and it will become their life mission to find a solution. They'll make it their life mission to, you know, because you think about all the technology we live with now. Our technology, our technology blows me away. I mean, I can't get my head around it, frankly. I can't get my head around the internet. I mean, it's just like, how is it work? How does this work? I just don't understand it. You know, I have so many friends overseas, and we have our little chatty catch-ups with a video call. So first of all, it doesn't cost anything. I mean, I remember the days of, you know, if I was abroad and I was phoning home, it cost, you know, you'd be putting 10p's in, like 10p. It used to cost a fortune to call abroad. So it's free, that's one thing. But it's a picture. I mean, I can't get my head around it. How can I see my friend's beautiful face through the screen? How does that work? The technology is, I mean, it is absolutely amazing. I never take that for granted. I mean, literally every time I call one. This weekend I was I was on video call to a friend. Had to cut it short, unfortunately, so hopefully I can catch up with her again soon. It's funny because she said she's a gardener and she's saying, well, we might have a snow day, so if I have a snow day, she won't be able to work, so we can carry on our video catch-up. Although that would mean she won't get paid because she's self-employed, so a snow day means no pay day. But anyway, yeah, so I was chatting to her, and then this week coming, I'll be chatting to another friend via video call. So we have amazing technology. You just think about the technology that's in a mobile telephone, a smartphone. Think of everything you do on that phone. You know, it's only, 25 years ago. Yeah, maybe 25 years ago, we didn't even have mobile phones. You might have a car phone if you were swanky, but that was it. And you could just about, and remember, phones were like bricks, and you had to pull an aerial out of the top of it, and you'd be sort of standing like this, trying to get reception with the aerial. And all you could do was make a call, and it was crackly. And now look where we are. So yeah, it's I'm bowled over by technology. But back to my point about this young person that I'm dreaming of right now. That's and also the other thing in the UK, I think about our, the history of engineering in the UK. We turn out pretty fabulous engineers in the UK. And you think about, 150, 200 years ago, how this country was changed by engineering. When we think about our canals and our railways, I'm a mega fan of Isambard Kingdom Brunel. I love railways. That line from Paddington out west all the way down to Cornwall, astonishing. It's beautiful. And the engineering it took that mega crazy mind of Mr. Isambard to do it. So we have we have a tradition of fantastic engineers in this country. We have technology. So I just really, really hope that there is this young person right now who will is living through this time, who says, you know what, this is not good enough, there must be a solution. And that they find the solution to give us clean, renewable, plentiful, reliable energy. And I hope whoever she is out there, or he, but I hope whoever she is, I hope that, one day, maybe in 50, 60 years' time, maybe after I'm dead, but that her name is as famous as Isambard Kingdom Brunel. Her name is as famous as Marie Curie. Her name is as famous as Alexander Graham Bell, Thomas Edison. I hope she's out there, or he. You know what? Because that's the thing, isn't it? It's it's not. I mean, I don't really want to get political, but I'm going to. Not party political. It's going to take, I think, the will of an individual with some of these things to get us there, because, we have these elected leaders, but, I've become really cynical in my old age, but I just feel like, they don't care. They don't care because these things don't actually affect them. I'm talking about those people right at the top. I think there are some politicians who go into politics because they have a genuine desire to do good for their community. I've got, there's a couple of great politicians in my neighbourhood. But I think, once they're at the top, once they're right at the top, cabinet or whatever, it's just money and power, isn't it? And I think the biggest problem is that they don't walk the walk that we walk. So how would they know what it's like? Why would they care about changing it? Because it just doesn't affect them. I saw a fantastic vlog. I was trying to think. So the lovely Stuart down under occasionally sends me links to vlogs to YouTube videos to watch. Now, I've said before, I'm not a great watcher of YouTube. Generally, it's just a time issue. But the ones Stuart sends, they're always great, and he tends to send me quite a few from Neil Oliver. I love Neil Oliver. Some of you, I'm going to try and remember, because I want to talk about a particular one I watched. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description below. I don't know for the rest of the world whether you get this programme, but in the UK there's a programme, and I think it's simply called Coast. So some of you may know Neil Oliver from that. He's a historian, academic. How to describe him? I mean, he's a bit of a polymath, actually. Fiercely intelligent, but with that intelligence, he's very deeply thinking, very thoughtful, and articulate, considerably more articulate than me. So the one I watched the other day, he was talking about leadership and the terrible state of, and I'm not just talking about the UK, and like I said, this isn't, I'm not even talking party politics, because frankly I don't think it matters much which party. I think once they're up at the top. Anyway, in this particular vlog, he was talking about Ernest Shackleton, and that's one of the reasons Stuart sent the link to me, because he knows I'm a bit of a Shackleton fan. Top shelf of my bookshelf, actually. And no, I changed out the pictures on one of my pinboards in the kitchen, but for ages I've had a postcard of Shackleton in my kitchen, because yeah, he is a hero of mine. But the reason Neil Oliver was talking about Shackleton in this scenario was because he was talking about his leadership qualities. And part of that was that Shackleton would not ask someone to do something that he wasn't prepared to do himself. In fact, the worst job, the dirtiest job, the toughest job, he'd be the first there to do it. He would lead by literally showing the way, leading the way by doing that very thing. And I think that's what we lack in our modern leaders is, you know, they talk the talk, but do they ever walk the walk? And I'm not going to go into all the something Gates fiascos from a couple of years ago. But yeah, and it comes back to this thing with fuel that I know. Again, I was listening to a broadcast. My memory, my short-term memory these days is rubbish, and if I don't make a note of it, scribble a note, I forget all the details, and I'm really sorry, and that's probably really annoying, because I mentioned something and then you can't go and look it up because I don't know what it is. But I was listening to something a few weeks ago, and it was all about this, you know, what on earth are we going to do about our fuel situation? We have to be, apart from anything else, we have to find a way to be self-reliant, as a nation. How do we generate energy for ourselves rather than relying on buying it from someone else? And it fits perfectly with, you know, the ethos of my teeny tiny little humble life here of how can I do things for myself so that I don't have to rely on other people, so that I don't have to rely on the shops for my food. Can I grow, you know? And in this it was a debate I think I was listening to. Someone brought up the fact that for about the last 20 years or so, the politicians have had on the table, but not done anything about it, the plans or the nucleus of the idea needs expanding for hydroelectricity in the UK. Now, we're not a perfect country for hydroelectricity. We think of countries like Norway that are perfect for it. Let's go back to our O-level geography, school geography. glaciers. I loved glaciers, studying glaciers, but we know that Norway has these very steep-sided, narrow valleys, which makes them perfect for hydroelectricity, and we don't have that in the UK. But they were saying that 2 sites have been identified for a number of years. One is the Bristol Channel. Oh, I can't remember where the other one was. It's maybe up in the Highlands somewhere. The west coast of Scotland. Sorry, can't remember. But yeah, they were saying that these two sites have been identified as being, highly possible locations for hydroelectricity to be done. Sorry, that was really inarticulate. Listen to the engineer talking. We can do hydroelectricity here, built. Anyway, established, set up, built. But it will take a vast initial investment, billions. So it just gets tabled all the time. According to this radio I was listening to, or it might have been, sorry, it doesn't matter, I don't want to frustrate everyone with me trying to remember on camera and I can't remember. So that's the problem. It's that kind of, that sort of short-termism of, I know we're in a pickle financially, this country at the moment. But when I think of those billions of profit from those companies like BP and Shell, why can't we make that investment? They invest, how much do they invest in that stupid railway? I've even forgotten the name of it, HS2? I can't remember now. The high-speed link to Birmingham, so you can get to Birmingham 20 minutes more quickly. Millions, I don't know how many millions, possibly even billions, of millions of pounds spent just to get to Birmingham 20 minutes more quickly. Really, 20 minutes? For goodness sakes! So, yeah, I wish we had a strong leader. I wish we had the kind of leader who would say, you know what, this is not going to make me popular right now because I'm going to spend a lot of money. And people are going to say that money should be spent elsewhere, whatever it is. But this is a critical long-term investment in the entire country. This is an investment for everyone, so that we never, ever have to be in a position again where people may die because of the cold this winter because they can't afford to turn the heating on. There we go, I said it. I didn't want to say that, but I've just said it. So I don't know what can we do as individuals? That's always the thing, isn't it? Because I know this certainly happens for me, that I listen to the news and I end up shouting, swearing at the radio or whatever, out of frustration, out of anger. But maybe it's something, we all need to write to our politicians, to say to our politicians, renewable energy has to be, at least in the top 5 of our agenda. Look, health and social care is in a terrible state at the moment, and that's vital. I think health and social care we absolutely do need to focus on. But something is basic, because it's basic, isn't it? It is basic fuel. Cooking, keeping warm, having a light on. After food, that's pretty much our most basic need as a human being, isn't it? Oh yeah, write to your politicians, everyone. Can you imagine if everybody in the country wrote to their politicians and said, put renewable energy on the table, put investment in renewable energy on the table. Anyway, Vivi's having a little rant today. And in the meantime, let's all think like Shackleton. Let's all Let us be the change that we want to see in our leaders. Let us be our own leaders whenever and wherever we can. And just be kind and thoughtful towards other people and think about other people's needs. And if we, if we're okay, if I'm okay, is there something I can do to help someone else? And for me at the moment, you see, this is something I'm going to be doing, which is lovely. I'm really glad I'm in a position to do this. I will keep the heating off as long as I can endure it. But I will make sure I keep the house aired, things like that. I need the electricity on, so I've got the lights on just while I'm filming at the moment. But the minute the camera's turned off, the lights will go off again. I need the electricity on for things like the computer, for when I'm doing the bits and bobs of editing and uploading, that sort of thing. I need the sewing machine on. But otherwise, the heating can stay off for a little while now. And in terms of food, I've got plenty to eat. I'm okay. So I was thinking this the other day about, what could I do to help someone who isn't in as okay a situation as I'm in. Now, I was thinking about, can I buy meter credit to donate? But it's a bit of a tricky one, that. So some of the people who are being clobbered most by the fuel prices are those who use the prepay meters, and they're generally in rental accommodation, council, social housing, that sort of thing. But it's more all of those. That's always the most expensive way of paying for fuel. So the most expensive way to pay for fuel is in the homes of the people who have the least money. It's just one of those absolute cruelties. And I did think, can I do a credit top up for someone, and donate it at the food bank, for instance? But you can't, because you need their key. It's like some of them are like it's like a little plastic stick. Some of them are on a card, but it's personal to them. I'd need that person's card to take it to go and top it up, so I can't do that. But what I can do is I can do a little bit more for the food bank, because if there's more at the food bank, if there's more food available, then maybe folk can say, okay, if I can get food, if I can spend less on food because there's a bit more at the food bank, then I can top my fuel payment up a bit. So that's what I'm going to do. Mostly when I do my shopping, I'll pretty much always buy a tin or two of something to put in the food bank collection box that's in the shop. So, I'll a tin of chickpeas, or not baked beans. My local food bank is always saying, no more baked beans, please. Check with your local food bank. Call them first. What do they need? But yeah, so I'll always put a couple of tins in. But I was thinking the other day, you know what, Vivi? A couple of tins ain't going to cut it, is it? Really. And, we're coming into this time of year, aren't we? Into Christmas, where I'll be doing my treats for a tenner. I'm still going to do my treats for a tenner this year. But, everyone's talking, all the talk is about all that extra stuff, the treats, what have you. I'm going to get emotional now because, so the other day, I got a penny jar that I keep to put my change in. It's an old beer bottle. Yeah, I did drink the beer that was inside it, but it's one of these kind of big promotional beer bottles, the type. And the neck, it fits 1p's, 5p's and 20p's. So I chuck them in there at the end of the week, and when I've done my spend, I chuck them in there. I don't think about it. I don't miss them. And historically, I cash it in around about this time of year, and I use it for Christmas, for buying Christmas presents, for, extra, food treats for myself, what have you. So I've just recently done that. Now, in the past, that meant And I always loved it. You know, as a little girl, I loved playing post office. It was one of my favourite games. I loved playing shop, but I really loved playing post office. Stamping. So about this time of year, yeah, I'd put a sheet of newspaper down on the kitchen counter because coins are filthy. Coins are one of the dirtiest things you can imagine. It icks me out to think about how dirty coins are. Anyway, tip them out and then count them. So do all my pennies and they go in a bag. It's a £1 bag. Do all the 5p's, they go in a £5 bag. Do all the 20p's, they go in a £10 bag. So bag them all up, count them up, bag them up, and then take them to the bank, pay them in, but then immediately withdraw it, you know, in tenors. And it's always been, I would say over the years, I think the most I ever had in it one Christmas was about 180 quid. I was gobsmacked. That was when I was, in the days when I was working, and I was spending more, or at least I was withdrawing money from the bank 2 or 3 times a week. So I'd have 2 or 3 lots of change every week to chop. Now it's it. Anyway, so yeah, pay it in at the bank, change it for banknotes, and then go and do my Christmas shopping, gifts, cards, wrapping paper, food treats, whatever it is. So my bank, though, has changed the way they do it. They've now got a machine. It's fantastic. I loved it. It was like I was playing. They got it in last year, which is how I knew about it, to do it for this year. So last year, I went down to the bank. I can't remember what it was last year. I can't remember how much it was last year. It doesn't matter. But I got all my bags and she said, oh no, we don't do it like that anymore. You have to put them in the machine. So I had to empty them all out of their bags again. But it does save counting. And it's like putting them into a top-loading washing machine. It's the weirdest thing. So you lift a lid and you chuck your coins on, and there's like a sort of a grill on the top, and they pop down, and then there's a spinny thing inside, and it spins them off, and by doing that it can sort them into whichever denomination they are. But it's noisy, so I went there. So I didn't take my beer bottle to the bank. I don't know why. I felt embarrassed to take my beer bottle, walking down the street with a beer bottle, a massive beer bottle full of pennies. Anyway, I had tipped them out into one of my cotton shopping bags, got down to the bank, tipped them out very noisily, and then you shut the lid, and as you shut the lid, it spins, it goes mental. And then basically it does that, and then it prints out a little receipt to say how much you've won. Because that's what it feels like. I was like, yeah, I've won. Honestly, it's like a game. And then you can take that to the cashier, and you can either pay it in or exchange it for notes rather than doing your shopping in pennies, because I don't think there's a lot of shopkeepers don't even want to take cash these days. That's quite frustrating. Anyway, I was really delighted because I didn't think, I'm spending less and less and less, and obviously this year I've had my pretty much no spend year, so I was expecting it to be a minuscule amount, but it was I wrote it down, hold on, £71 and 10p. That's more than £1 a week. There's only 52 weeks in a year, and I've done it 5-6 weeks before the end of the year, so 46 weeks. That's nearly £1.50 a week. Now, I haven't noticed it at all. I haven't missed it, because it's just, it's just pennies, isn't it? And I don't mean that in a, God, I suddenly sounded a bit privileged then, didn't I? And I don't mean it that way. I don't miss it because it's only pennies. I don't mean it like that. I mean, I've been able to buy the things I need to buy and put my change in the jar and to be okay. So, but here's the thing. So, I was skipping in the bank going, yeah, I won. But now here's the thing. Throughout the year, when I see something that I think is perfect for someone, I get it as I go along. And I don't really buy many gifts these days or buy for many people. My mum, my sister, a couple of friends, that's it. And actually, I had bought everything I need throughout the course of the year. I already had all my bits and bobs of presents lined up. There was just one more little chocolate treat I wanted to buy for my sister, but I bought that from the shop where I traded some of my excess rhubarb earlier in the year. So I had a credit note from my rhubarb and I used that to get a bar of chocolate, because it was expensive chocolate, for my sister. So I actually didn't need to spend the £71 and 10p on anything for Christmas. I will be using some of it for my treats for a tenner. Crikey, I've just looked at the time. I think I've been going on. Let's hurry up, Vivi. Yeah, I'll be doing treats for a tenner with it, and I might just maybe in the Christmas week, I might say I'll go shopping and I'll allow myself 20 quid for my food shop. Not because I'll go mad with lots and lots of stuff, but just in terms of thinking, like a ready-made pizza or something like that. Stuff that means I won't have to cook every day over Christmas. But then I thought, and this is what I'm really, really, really happy about, and it's coming back to that thing about heating. One of the things that I've really missed since going without a wage was that I had to ditch most of my charities, as in my direct debits to charities. They all just had to go. I didn't have any money. The shop, I'm so chuffed, because with the shop, every sale from the shop, 10% of the profit goes to Macmillan Cancer Care. So I'm really, really chuffed that I give to Macmillan Cancer Care every month now. And I do a minimum as well, so that even if I haven't sold anything from the shop, Macmillan still get a donation. So that's thank you to you all as well. So every time you buy something, it's you that are making the donation. Thank you. But yeah, it's been one of those things that's bothered me over the years that I ditched that. And certainly everything in YouTube, the shop, sewing, that has grown for me over the last 3 or 4 years. So I was feeling recently that it's time that maybe I could do more by way of charity. So what I thought with my Christmas bottle money, £71.10, let's say, because I like round figures, let's say that treats for a tenner and a 20 quid shop is 30 quid. Let's round it up to £31.10. It'll leave 40 quid that I don't need to spend on presents, because I have those already. So I can do a great big food bank shop, because if I do that, what I'm trying to say is that's the point, isn't it? And I suppose I'm sharing this with everyone, and maybe I'll show you. Yeah, is the way I see it is like, yeah, it's tough. This is tough for me, having the heating off. I don't like it. But it's tougher for someone else. There's always someone else for whom life is even tougher. And it's just how my morals are. I feel a moral duty to help someone else. I think we all should. That's how society works, doesn't it? Those who can help those who need the help. So I was thinking about this the other night. I'm going to do 3 different shops, different types of shops. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get, because it's not the sort of shopping I would normally do, but I'm going to do a £20 food shop. I'll call the food bank first and just check what is most needed, and because my mind is thinking about things like cooking time, things that are really quick and easy to cook, or don't need any cooking at all, I think that's probably wise. So I'm going to do a £20 food shop, and I'm going to do a £10 personal care shop. So, you know, hygiene products. But then, and this is what I'm really excited to do, I'm going to do a £10 treats shop. No, do you know what I'm going to do? I know. Right, let's do a £10 food shop, a £10 personal hygiene shop, a £10 toy shop. I think Lidl at the moment have got some like colouring books and stuff like that in the middle aisle. So £10 toy-ish shop. But then I'm going to do a £10 treats shop. And by treats, I mean sweets. Now, I know that sweets are naughty, that sweets aren't food and kids can't live on sweets alone. But for goodness sakes, you know what? Just think back to when you were a kid. You wanted sweets, didn't you? You wanted sweets and chocolate at Christmas. It's all you wanted. So I know it's naughty and I know it's not. I am going to do it. I keep thinking maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should just do it food, but I think the psychological value of sweets for a kid at Christmas weighed against the nutritional value of a tin of pulses at Christmas. I think it's worth it. Anyway, so I'm chuffed. So the penny jar this year, I'm really chuffed. I'm chuffed in a selfish way. It is selfish because doing that will make me feel better. You know, there's not much else I can do, but at least I can do that. And maybe if some of you are in a similar situation, I mean, and God knows it's tight for everybody, isn't it? It really is. But, you know, maybe there's a toy drive in your area. I know you're not going to see this till it's right at the end of November for me, but you won't see it till December. But I know that there are a couple of local businesses, they do things like advent calendar. They'll do an advent calendar drive so that kids can have a chocolate advent calendar. You know, it's stuff that a lot of the population take utterly for granted. It's a tiny thing, but for another kid somewhere else, it's huge. And not even necessarily for the kid, but for the parent. If a parent or guardian can go along to the food bank and pick up a chocolate advent calendar for their kid, I get emotional because, it shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be like this. But you know what? It blimmin' well is. So yeah, let's sorry guys. Hold on a sec. So yeah, let's all consider if we can spare a couple of quid and put something really nice and treat like into the food bank, as well as some regular food. Oh goodness me, it's that time of year, isn't it? I think I get a little bit over emotion at Christmas anyway. I think it's that time of year, isn't it? There's something about Christmas, isn't there? I'm sure I've said this before in my actual Christmas videos, that I don't know about all of you, but for me, I feel like all of my emotions run really high at Christmas. I don't know why. Maybe it's sort of all the images that we're surrounded by of like, oh, this is the perfect Christmas, this is the perfect family, the perfect Christmas. And you know what, for the majority of us, that's not what Christmas is like, is it? And so maybe it's sort of feelings of inadequacy creep in. I don't know. I think it's also because it's cold. At this time of year, it makes us think about folk who are living on the streets, folk who are living in houses but that they can't afford to heat and all that. I don't know, yeah. It's an emotional mess at Christmas. I do beg your pardon. Anyway, I was going to talk about all sorts of other stuff today, but got distracted. Yes, Shackleton, Shackleton, Shackleton. Think positive, Vivi. That penny jar machine. Oh my goodness. Go and check out if your bank has got one of those machines. It's worth saving your pennies just for the joy of that machine going with all your pennies and then your little ticket coming out and you go, I've won. It is mad though, isn't it? If you think about it, that's, like I said, that's £1.50 a week or so, 71 quid. That hardly knows. If you don't do a penny pot, a penny jar, start one next year. Start your penny jar for next year's Christmas. But put 5p's and 20p's in it as well if you can afford it, if you can manage it. Right, lovelies, I think I need to... I've gone slow with this on. This is literally what I'm going to do all day. I've got, how many bags have I got with me at home? There's a load over there. Oh, I've got 7 bags here, so that's 7 hours. It's going to take a bit longer because I've been chatting. But this will be my occupation for the rest of the day. I'll pop the radio on, I might pop an old movie on, that sort of thing. It's lovely, cosy, happy work. It's done with love and joy, so that but look, it hasn't filled up much, has it? It does take a while, but it's lovely. Like I say, it's really, really lovely work. I'm cosy. I've got my blankie. You know, there's blankets on the sofa. I can pile more on. Just be happy in my quiet work. I've got a feeling that this video has come across as a bit miserable, and do you know what? I didn't mean it to. Oh my goodness, I certainly didn't mean it to. I suppose more than anything, yeah. I still try to find the positives wherever I can, and let's think of other folk. Let's just all think of each other and support each other in whatever way we can. And sometimes support might be just sitting and listening with an open heart and with empathy and compassion. Yeah, let's do that. All right, lovelies, I'll see you again. It ought to be in the garden soon. I ought to. So, honestly, I'm so procrastinating. I've got to get the brassicas done, get them mulched. Another day. Whatever it is, I will see you all soon. But until then, please take care of yourselves and take care of other people whenever and however you can. Cheerio, lovelies.